All right, everybody, wishing you a happy Sunday. Here, we are moving along. Let's see, it's Sunday, March 21st. 2 more days, and it is 1 year since my first video. March 23rd was my very first video to start this channel that I had no idea I was starting. Yeah, it's like I said before, I thought I was just showing a couple of demonstration things about some bass parts. And by the third or fourth day of it, all of a sudden people were writing, going, "Hey, I love your channel, man." I'm going, "What channel are you talking about?" It so completely caught me off guard. This was the last thing I expected to happen in my life, was have a YouTube channel. But with the advent of lockdown and COVID and unemployment, it turned out to be the perfect storm for actually trying to do something creative. And it so completely went beyond any expectation I ever had about what this could mean. And primarily the community that's evolved around this has been an astounding experience in my life, because you get used to like being in your space, you know, and you meet people like in your travels and stuff, but this has actually become like a small town. And we have as many people on the network now as some just small towns in the world. It's amazing. So I am appreciative every day about this whole experience that it's been, and I intend for this by no means to end at all. And I've said this before, that I look at the raising of barriers and opening of venues, and when the time is right and when it's safe for everybody, to take you on the road. And we'll do these, but we'll also do things while traveling and meet. You want to introduce you to all the cast of characters that I deal with on a regular basis normally in my life. So I'm really looking forward to that. The telethon against COVID-19, the fundraiser that went on yesterday, I think they did really, really well. They had an incredible amount of artists on it. And we were very happy that they invited the immediate family to be a part of it. And our video, New York Minute, sounded great. I was blown away how great it sounded on the video. But one of the fun parts of it was, before that, they had different people coming on and introducing artists. They would have their segment of the show and introduce the upcoming artists on it. And one of the people that was going to be doing that was Judith Owen. And it was great, because they called me and said, "Would you introduce Judith?" And she's not going to know you've done it. And it was so much fun, because I did that and completely blew her mind. And then she wrote to me and it was so funny when she wrote to me in the evening. I was sitting here putting a bass part on a new song of hers. So, we're connected. Boy, it's just unbelievable. But it was really fun to be a part of that. And I think they're going to broadcast it on CBS, one of the major networks. They're reducing it down to, I think, an hour fundraiser for that isn't an online thing, but rather a mainstream. And I think the immediate families part of it is going to be in that. So we're excited about that. Let's see. I'm getting to this late. I had some stuff to do this morning, on Sunday morning, and then I've been dealing with the pups, and I gotta load. My wife went to the nursery yesterday and got a whole bunch of crap for me to plant today. Her back's been bothering her, so needless to say, it ends up being me doing that part of the work. She's the one that knows the stuff. I'm the grunt worker. I'm just looking out the window right now, and the birds are back up here eating these little seed pods that are on this tree. It's just such a joy to sit here and just watch them just bouncing, branch to branch. There's probably hundreds of thousands of these little seeds on here, so they're not going to run out soon. But it's just beginning to leaf out, so it's really spring. As they say, spring is in the air. There's some pretty cool stuff going on here. So I thought, since I was dealing with Judith yesterday, I thought I'd go back to the first album I did with Judith. This was by no means her first album. She'd had a number of albums before we hooked up. But this was called Ebb and Flow, and this was our first real experience together. And this was kind of her homage to the music of the 70s, because she grew up in a musical household. Her father was an opera singer with the Covent Garden Opera Company in London, but they're from Cardiff. She's Welsh, and she said, they used to just drive around and listen to James Taylor records and sing along, had family sing-alongs, her folks, and she and her sister Susan. And so when this happened, it was great, and I ended up getting Russ Kunkel and Waddy Wachtel and Lenny Castro to do the album. And we would go into Sunset Sound, one of the great studios in LA, and she would come in, we'd sit around the piano, she would play us her song, we'd sketch out whatever we thought we needed to do it, and next thing you know, first, second takes, we nailed all these songs. And it started a whole fabulous relationship with her. And we've done a bunch of albums. We're right in the middle of actually 2 albums right now, a pop album, and then she's writing basically kind of an operetta about the women in Picasso's life. And she's written some astounding pieces that I can really see this thing going to Broadway. It would be fantastic. Oops, hold on. But she's like a force of nature, and her new stuff is just unbelievable. But I thought I'd go back to the well here, where I first started with her, and just do a couple of songs. Now, I haven't run these. I just remembered this and I pulled it up. So there might be some bouillabaisse in here, some clamatos, but I'm just gonna try to enjoy myself here with this. This was a really great hit song. It was from Mungo Jerry in the summertime, and but she does everything her own way. So this is a whole other spin on it from what he'd already done it. Why do that again? So just go ahead and do this. And I'm using my Warwick Star bass on this one, and I just came in and noticed it is so dusty. It's just been sitting here in the corner. I'm glad I'm playing, and I'm going to get out some dust rags and clean this thing up. It deserves a little once through here. These are a bunch of the signatures on this one. Were a bunch of bass players when we were at the Warwick Bass Camp a few years ago. And then the first person I got on there was Chuck Rainey, and that kind of sets the standard high. So let's go ahead and play this. This is in the summertime. Let me see if I can remember this.
Where the weather is high, you can stretch right up, you can
was really, when we were touring it, a lot of this time it was just Judith and myself and Pedro on percussion, Pedro Segundo. And so Pedro and I were doing all the background vocals on it. And when we were fortunate enough, we would have the girls out with a string section from London, Megan Cassidy and Lizzie Ball and Gabriella Swallow. And a number of the times we just had Gabby with us on cello. It was always great. I mean, it was so much fun with this group of people. And it was really great. There's, let me see if I can find it on here. There's like one little break when this happens. Oh, here it is.
Well, you can have a drive and go to see what you can find. Have a drink, have a drive and go out and see.
At that point live, I would say, see what? And then she would, see what, da, da. Well, at one of the gigs, we had been in a toy store, and Pedro and I bought a couple of those little things that are like a cow. You turn it over and it goes, moo, moo. So when she sings, see what I, and I just went up to the mic, moo. She almost fell off the piano bench. She was laughing so hard. It was really hard to finish the song. She was kind of losing her mind. So it's always nice to keep the artist a little on the edge, you know, kind of wondering, looking back on what are they plotting against me? What's going on? What are these rascals up to? I'm just going to randomly pick another song from that album and see if I can remember. This is a challenge. I haven't played this stuff in a number of years now, because the last tours that we did was all later, like from Rediscovered album and Somebody's Child. We grabbed a couple from this one, but I'm gonna go ahead and grab a little Train Out of Hollywood.
I've got a friend that I can't see, living high life might just be the perfect disguise for someone who's in pain. Works in a bar and he tells me, tries really hard, and he might just be a beautiful star, 'cause that's all he really needs to make him what inside. Carry your body out of time, and you're going down in style. Swallow your pride, get on a train out of Hollywood.
and then the squeak of a chair to close it out. That's weird trying to wrap my head around these again here. Just see what, let me just see if anything else tickles my fancy. Oh, that's Hey, Mr.
Yesterday can I have some honest affection?
Okay, I'm gonna. This is such a great song. I don't know if I can remember this one, but I want to play it.
Can I have some honest affection? Couldn't understand how she could be so strong, but she cried inside with a little introspection. She said, "You gotta be the first to know when you are wrong."
Never been to Texas.
She met a stranger in strange circumstances. Talked for hours like they were long lost friends. When he left, her heart was filled with Eastern dances. 2 days before her heart could strike a beat again.
Keeps repeating.
I've never been to Texas, but I hear the weather's awful hard. And if I was a lizard, I would lie on the desert and send my emotions on a postcard. Better get one rainy morning. Saw his face and my heart felt like a circus chime. Deep inside it bright alive like a new day dawning. Isn't it strange how much can change? It's just a little time. I've never been to Texas, but I hear the weather's awful hard. If I was a lizard, I would lie on the desert and send my emotions on a postcard. I've never been to Texas, but I hear the weather's awful hard. If I was a lizard, I would lie on the desert and send my emotions on a postcard. I'd like to send, like to send my emotions on a postcard.
Wow, that's a tough one to wrap your head around if you haven't played it in like a couple of years. I'm through jumping in here for the moment. Just fun visiting Judith. I'm waiting to hear back. I did 2 songs for her over the past 2 days. Needless to say, she's in New Orleans and working with John Fishbeck in the studio there, and then they're sending me files to do, and I just so wish I was there working with them, because I'd so much rather be playing live, but under the circumstances, there's really nothing we can do about that, so you make do with what you've been handed. But I'm just waiting to hear from them as to whether those parts worked. I did like 4 passes of each song, just to give them some stuff to play with, give them some little bit different performances, and then on one of them I added a completely second bass track to be mixed in with whatever bass track they pick. This will work with it, just giving some sub notes to it, just to give some weight to the track. Then somebody just sent me files for something else I'm going to look into, and there's a bunch of stuff going on. But again, it was really fun to be involved yesterday with the telethon. And it's really so critical that we all take care of each other during these times. Government's going to do X amount, but it's really is when the communities pull together is when things really get accomplished. And it was a wonderful thing because 100% of everything they raised was going to relief. None of it was going to any kind of meetings or any administrative stuff. It was strictly all the dough was going to the people in need and programs in need. So yes, good for them. So I'm going to get running here. I got a bunch of things to do, and so I will see everybody tomorrow. And I'm going to dust my base. I'm not going to oil my chair, but I'm going to dust. Maybe I'll take the WD-40 and clean the base, because I know everybody's talked about, no, you don't use WD-40 for the squeaks. I've got cans of lubricating grease and stuff that I use for the hot rod. I got Zerk fittings on it. I've got the squeeze gun and all that stuff. And then I've also got cans of A1 lubricating oil, which I've been using that since I was a little kid. I'm not going to tell you how I was using it. That's a whole other video. I'll have to take the children out of the room, but we'll talk later. But I'm going to take care of this stuff, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. And again, thank you to all the people who aren't getting weekends, working in the hospitals and stuff, trying to save lives, because they're anticipating a terrible spike coming up with the amount of things going on with spring breaks and things. And there's just, you watch the news and there's thousands of people out in masks, shoulder to shoulder, partying. Whatever, I'm gonna stay as safe as I can. I'm gonna mask every time I go out of the house. Of course, that's probably good for anybody else around me here. Just for me to cover myself is probably another good thing as far as having the children around. Oh, he's good. He's got his mask on. He's not gonna scare the kids. But thank you to all of those people that are working so hard every day. I hear from them all the time, and that's one of those things that a lot of people think this stuff's nonsense, and then when I get letters and chats and messages sent to me from ER doctors and nurses and going, man, if they could only spend a day with us here, they would change their tune if they saw what this is all really doing. So thank you. You are heroic people in our world, and we'd be in deep if you weren't here. So, and can't wait to see Judith again and get to work. We got gigs to do. We got records to finish, lots of stuff. So at some point we will be back together again, and lots of good immediate family stuff going on. So I'm excited about all this stuff. I just want the world to be healed so we can actually go and enjoy each other's company again. So take good care, and I am out of here. I'll say bye-bye.